Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. I am your English instructor and welcome to my English coaching class. Currently we are at unit number 13, an eyewitness account of devastating flood. Our today's lecture is lecture number 4 and the competency that we are targeting through this lecture is reading and critical thinking. Our today's topic is organizational patterns in our text. Let's have a look at the SLO first. Analyze organizational patterns in a text. Number 1, list or sequence of ideas or events, comparison and contrast, cause and effect, problem and solution, reasons or assumptions or conclusions. So these are different organizational patterns that we use to organize a text. Here is the vertical linkage. Let's do a quick brainstorming session. Let's recall the story, A Thirsty Crow, and observe how the events in this story are organized. Can you recall the story A Thirsty Crow and identify or analyze how different events are organized in that particular story? Exactly. Organizational patterns in a text. So, in order to organize a text, we use different patterns. Let's explore all these patterns one by one. First, we have list or sequence of ideas or events. This pattern organizes information by listing items in a specific order or sequence. Events or steps are presented in a chronological order or another logical sequence, useful in instructional texts, historical accounts, and procedures. So, there have been different methods to organize a text. The first one is listing or making a sequence. Either you can make that sequence chronologically or you can make that list in a different logical order. For example, if an event happens in 1990, then you have to narrate it first, and then comes the event that happened in 1995 and then 1997 and vice versa. You cannot narrate an event that happened in 1997 first and then go back to 1990. There have to be a logical order while making a list of those events. Next is comparison and contrast. Items are compared based on their similarities and differences. This pattern is common in essays, articles, and reports. For example, while both renewable and non-renewable energy sources provide energy or power, renewable sources like wind and solar are sustainable and environmental friendly, unlike fossil fuels. So, according to this example, we have been told that fossil fuels are not that reliable source of producing energy, whereas wind and solar are more sustainable nowadays. So, you can very clearly see the contrast and the comparison. Next is cause and effect. This pattern explores the relationships between actions or events and their outcomes. It's often used to explain why things happen and predict the consequences. It explores the reasons or factors that lead to a specific outcome. For example, increased carbon emissions contribute to global warming. So, since I already taught you about different transitional devices, and in those transitional devices, I taught you about the cause and effect transitional device. So, this is also leading to that particular thing. Can you see that? What is the cause here? Increased carbon emissions. And what is the effect being shown here? Global warming. So, in order to organize a text, what do? We either we use different organizational patterns, either listing or comparison or contrast or cause and effect. Let's move on to the next one, problem solution. This pattern introduces a problem, discusses its implications, and then presents one or more solutions. It's frequently used in persuasive and argumentative writing. For example, plastic pollution in the oceans is harming marine life. Implementing stricter regulations on plastic waste and promoting recycling can reduce ocean pollution. So, in this particular example, first you can see the problem. What is the problem? The threat or the harming of marine life. First we have presented the problem, and then after that we have provided the solution. What is the solution? Recycling and implementing stricter regulations. So this is also another way to organize information in a particular text. This is your classroom activity. Let's read this text and try to analyze different organizational patterns. During the evening, I received distressing news from a family member in Dera Ismail Khan that our villages were getting engulfed by heavy rain and flooding. Can you identify or analyze the organizational pattern in this sentence? Yes. Here is the cause and effect organizational pattern being used. Can you tell me what is it? The distressing news about the evacuation of or the engulfing of the village by heavy rain and flood. Cause क्या है? Heavy rain और flood है, और उसका effect क्या है? The engulfing of the village. आगे देखें. The situation echoed. When it rains, it pours. Evacuations were underway, compelling residents to leave for safety in Dera Ismail Khan city. Again, you can see the cause and effect organizational pattern. Cause क्या है? Again, heavy rain or flooding है, और उसका effect क्या है? The evacuation of the villagers of Dera Ismail Khan. The situation was dire due to intense flash floods. It was prompting an alarming emergency response within the villages. It felt like a peaceful moment had suddenly turned into an intense and overwhelming storm. So again, we can see the cause and effect organizational pattern being used. What is the cause? Flood. The intense flash flood. And what is the effect? The dire situation because of that flash flood. Upon learning of the district-wide emergency declaration for Dera Ismail Khan due to torrential monsoon rains and the mass relocation of residents to the city, I teamed up with friends and other acquaintances to start a fundraising campaign. We chose to represent the idea that a friend in need is a friend indeed. We used social media and visited different places to carry out our plan. So, can you please tell me what organizational pattern is being used here in this paragraph? That's right. आगे देखें. Here is your homework. Read the text and answer the following questions. What is the author's point of view or purpose in writing this text? Next question is, in what ways does the author's choice of words convey the overwhelming nature of the disaster? The third question is, how does the author list the sequence of events that occurred when they received distressing news about the flooding? And the last one is, what solutions did the author propose or participate in help to the flood victims and those affected by the disaster? First, you have to go through the entire text and then you are supposed to write the answers of all these questions in your notebook. We have provided this simulation for you, and apart from this, here is the worksheet also being attached for your further and comprehensive understanding. We have also provided all the resources for you, the question bank, the worksheet and the lesson plan for you. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Thank you so much.